Hey guys, welcome back. This is Jurier Garage. I'm Davis. Today we're going to be continuing on my 1986 Fiero GT. As you saw, we completed the whole front suspension rebuild. We got new brakes on there. Now that the front suspension is done on this thing, it is way stiffer. I used to be able to rock the whole car. We can now turn our attention to the rear suspension. I got new ground control coilovers, new shocks for that. We're gonna be adding a rear sway bar, new inner and outer rear tie rods, because this is basically a front wheel drive car, just in the rear. But you can see how blown the rear is. I can just bounce the car up and down just by hand. So that definitely needs to be addressed. But we're gonna take a little detour before we start on the rear. We're coming into the rainy season and the sunroof leaks. So what I'm gonna be doing is replacing the sunroof seals, as well as the baggy headliner here. You can see it's just completely separated from everything. So I'm gonna work on replacing this, and the headliner I selected, it'll be really cool in scenes where I'm driving in the car because I chose a cool pattern for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. First thing we're gonna do is pop open the sunroof. I've actually never set this up, but basically just pull the glass out and then work on taking some of the trim pieces off the glass, and then we'll be able to remove the whole headliner as one unit. It's actually not that big, surprisingly, so it'll be nice to get this all fixed. All right guys, I was looking at this mechanism. This button seems to be stuck, but it's part of it. It'll, be like that extended, so all you do is lift it up and then push both sides in here, and now it is off the hinges, so we'll go to the top side and lift it up out, and basically right in there you can see two hinges. You just pull that out just like that. Oh, kind of heavy. We got this gasket to kind of take out, so be careful with it. There we go. Also have the actual seal here, which I have the new one. It's going to be adhesed on, glued on, so we'll go ahead and pull it up and out. All right guys, just got the old gasket off here. Wasn't in too bad a condition from what I could tell, but it's definitely old. The tracks I feel like at some point might have been replaced, but I'm not sure. They're painted rivets, so it probably wasn't. There's still some water I could feel in these corners. Definitely this one and the other one. It's actually just sitting water there. So I'll make sure that these, I'm thinking these are the drain holes or something. I don't know. I'll need to check through them. But I'm gonna vacuum up everything. Just a side note, you will get your interior a bit dirty because you got a big hole in the roof, but just get a vacuum. I'm gonna vacuum this up, clean it up, and then start on work on removing the headliner, because after that I need to start drilling the rivets out so I can remove the tracks. I got replacement tracks for it. So guys, next in the interior, we're going to be taking apart the A-pillar here. If you follow it, it goes to this panel. To remove this panel, you have to remove the seat belt. Just gotta undo this trim piece and take out the Torx bit that's holding it in. You can adjust the seat here forward just to get a little bit more room. We'll need to take care of this anchor here, this 2 Phillips, the latch with 1 Phillips, another clip here, the passenger side A-pillar, and that there. From there we just have lastly the this here, so that holds the sun visors, which there are 3 Phillips. We'll take this apart. Also maybe replace the fabric on this because this is kind of messed up. But as far as this goes, you just have to be careful with removing the 2 lenses, and then there's going to be 2 Phillips again. This will be able to pop out. All right guys, I just got the headliner out, made a huge mess, obviously. the headliner was kind of just deteriorating and just put fuzz everywhere. It's definitely gonna go back and vacuum this out. But from what I could tell, up in the corners where the mirrors bolt in, I mean, clearly they'd been rusty, so water was leaking through here. I mean, just how the droopy headliner was. It was for sure leaking, but I got all that out. I had no real hang-ups on it, so just gonna go ahead and continue. Man, it's so dirty in here now. I'm gonna have to vacuum that. Here it is outside. So this was the side that's facing the ceiling. This is the side that's facing down. So what I'll do is basically lay out my new fabric. On top of this, I'm going to glue it with some adhesive glue, and then I'm gonna let it sit for a while. And then once that's done, I'm going to flip it over, kind of wrap it around up here, go ahead and glue again, let it dry fully. Then I'm going to cut out what's needed for the, the sunroof, the lights, the rear hatch, the hooks, sun visors. The sun visors will look really gross in there if I leave them as is. I might just leave them as is to begin with, just so, just to get me by. But definitely going to want to like cover this with the new headliner fabric, figure out how to do that, or just buy some, like, I don't know, composite sets online. I don't need fabric. If I could just find one that's black or something, that will fit my needs just fine here. You can see how old and just disgusting this headliner was. It was barely holding on. One thing I did notice is on some of it, the headliner was wrapped around this metal trim. I'm concerned that it'll have some exposed fabric if I put the new headliner in and don't leave excess to kind of like wrap up in there. So I'll need to kind of figure that out. From what I've seen online, it doesn't, but yeah, we'll see. I guess it's time I show you what fabric I chose for the headliner. I'll go ahead and show it right here. This is what I selected. So it's kind of like a bunch of different car parts on here. Just a cool design: pistons, rods, wheels, spark plugs, turbos, blowers, all that stuff. So that's what I chose. So I picked up 3 yards of this. Should be plenty for the headliner. I'm going to go ahead and obviously clear up a space in here, probably set up cardboard for it to sit on. And I'm going to go to town getting this all set. Then I have some new Permatex headliner adhesive, so this is designed specifically for what I'm doing. Always recommend buying the right tools so you can get the job done right. So this will be perfect for what I need. Gonna go ahead and get started. All right, guys, I got the floor kind of cleaned up. I put down some cardboard. I went ahead and vacuumed up the surface and then blew it off with an air compressor. So the surface is pretty much as good as I'm going to be able to get it prepared for the headliner glue, and then just putting the headliner on. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down a bead of this. So I'm actually going to read the instructions on it just so I know what I'm doing. But typically with this stuff, you just spray it on, let it sit for like a couple minutes just to get tacky, and then you set the material on, whatever you're going to use. And then after that, put some weights on it. So I'll probably add some cardboard, something that's not going to like really press in the material, because sometimes if you press the material too hard into the glue, the material will soak it up and it'll stain through. You don't want that, especially if you have, white on it. It'll, see pretty easily. So just gonna put some kind of lighter items on here. I got some other just like light cardboard. I can set it on, but I'm gonna go ahead and glue on this side first, let it dry fully, and then we'll flip it over, cut the holes, and then glue on the opposite side just so it has a really good seal on there. All right, guys, while we let the fabric cure just in here, we're going to continue with the roof tracks. So the kit comes with new tracks here. They're metal and they have the bolts on it. The only problem is the old ones are riveted in from the factory. So what we'll do here is we'll just drill these out. And then from the bottom side, we'll reach the nuts there. So there's one there. There's only 4 total, I believe, or no, 6. So just replace these tracks, clean up everything, replace the tracks. We can get the new seal in, but yeah, we can at least get this all sealed up, because looks like it's gonna start raining here soon. All right guys, as you saw, I got the old brackets removed. They were definitely kind of hard to get off, so I'd recommend having some locking pliers. But I got the new tracks in. I also put some RTV under them just to kind of add some extra sealing below it. Got them bolted in, and now I'm working on getting the new gasket on. The old ones, as you saw, were riveted in, so it's kind of like these aren't bent 100%, but with the layer of RTV I sat down, and once I have the sunroof or the glass back on, that will secure it down and hopefully will kind of mold these into place. I don't ever like open my sunroof ever, really, so I'm just going to let it kind of form fit over time, and it should bend the metal enough, and with the clamping force on it, should be fine and seal properly. So I'm going to go ahead and get this gasket on, get the glass on. I do need to re-add that bracket under there. Not finished with the headliner, obviously, so I'm just going to have that bracket on there to hold it, and I'll be able to then proceed with getting the glass on. Alright guys, I'm back. I had some struggles getting the sunroof on, but it is back on. One problem is it seems like this whole upper piece is kind of connected at least to the trim, like the rail that we put here. So I had many rivets holding it on, so it's no longer secured down by as many points. It's only 2 with the bolts. So this is kind of lifted, and then this doesn't seal all the way. I mean, I can see a little lip under there. This is secured on, so not sure what that's all about. I'm thinking I'll probably have to re-add rivets to at least the rear side. This side's all fine. I mean, this looks like it'll seal perfectly well. Maybe just add some weight on top of the glass here, kind of smush it down a bit. Or I can try removing the rails and bending them slightly downwards, because it's a flat rail, but obviously the roof line isn't curved. So when it's sitting on there, it'll be sitting kind of up versus like contoured with it. So that's a problem with this. I'll just have to figure that one out. I went ahead and flipped over the material here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to this side, kind of crease over the edges, make sure that everything is kind of set. I'm going to weigh this down just so it makes an even better seal. It's not so much important that I get the edges glued, but because I can flip it over and glue and tape it here. So might even add just some tape to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out and glue it, and we'll give it some more time to cure, and we'll be back. All right guys, well, I think the headliner came out awesome. I just got it finished up. I went ahead and glued the back, trimmed everything up. I taped the back as well, as you can see. Just added some duct tape everywhere to kind of just hold it on, and man, this thing looks freaking awesome. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but in person, this thing looks freaking awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw her in. I did make a cut here for the sun visor, but kind of wish I didn't, because I don't know if I'm going to put them back in immediately. I do ultimately want to put sun visors in the car, obviously, but yeah, just I don't know if I want to throw the old ones in right now. So I will have that little hole in the corner until I get them kind of figured out. All right guys, we just finished up. It turned out way better than I could have imagined. It looks so sick in there. Coincidentally, we finished right as it started raining, so we'll see how well the new sunroof seal holds compared to the old dead one. But again guys, I mean, look how awesome this thing is. Premium material too. Looks great. So the old headliner did wrap under this, and then the seal held it in, but I didn't have the foresight to do that, I guess, or I didn't really want to try chancing it. So I just formed it to the headliner itself. Honestly, I don't care. It looks pretty nice. Like, you know, you hardly even notice this edge. Even on camera, you probably don't even see it. But no biggie there. I mean, this looks great. just another addition to the car, and I'm hoping on videos it'll look great. Imagine we're at the drag strip, got the camera like right here. I mean, it just looks sick in here, so super excited and super happy with the outcome here. Well guys, that's going to do it. Very happy with the outcome of the headliner and getting the new sunroof gasket in there. Hopefully it seals well, but either way it looks amazing. Next video, we're going to be tackling the rear suspension of the Fiero finally. We're going to be taking the old control arms out, cleaning them up, painting them, putting polyurethane bushings in them. We're also going to be installing an aftermarket rear sway bar, so this will help with rear stiffness, as well as ground control coilover kit. So this is a KYB shock, and they make bolt-on coilover conversions. You don't even need a custom top hat or anything else. They're very cheap and affordable. So check those guys out if you want to get coilovers for your Fiero. I spec'd them out for like a street and strip setup. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Be sure to join us as a member down below to gain access to our new videos early. Subscribe, comment down below, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.